now the first people are coming in. Welcome to today's session with Cedric and Fabien from Next4 and Bolloré Logistics. This session, I'd say it's slightly different from other sessions at the Digital Container Summit, because this is not just a corporate or just a startup talking about technology or digitalization. This is actually a use case and a real success story between Next4 and Bolloré Logistics. And for everyone who is interested in supply chain visibility and container tracking, I think Cedric and Fabien are gonna show you and explain you how Bolloré Logistics benefits from the Next4 IO technology, and of course also the other way around. So without further ado, Cedric, Fabien, the stage is yours. Please introduce yourself and tell people more about the success story between the two companies.
So thank you, Florian, and first of all, thank you for this organization and this meeting. The meetings since this morning are really interesting. So just let me introduce myself. I'm Cedric Rosemont. I'm the CEO of Next4, and we've been around for, I think, 2 years ago, a little bit more, and I will present Next4 before that. But of course, after the presentation, don't hesitate to ask for anything if something needs to be presented more.
Okay. Hello, everyone.
And yes, this is Fabien.
No, it's okay. Yeah. And I'm Fabien Mothe from Bolloré Transport and Logistique. I'm in the group for a long time, and I'm in charge today of the innovation factory teams in the Bolloré IT department. We are a small team, around 10 people, and I'm going to start this presentation with firstly the Bolloré Lab. I will introduce this structure, what is the goal of this structure, and what we want to do, and why we want to work with the startup Next4. So the B Lab. Okay. The innovation factory works within the B Lab center, the B Lab structure. This B Lab was created 2 years ago. It is dedicated to innovation for the group Bolloré Transport and Logistique. Also very strongly oriented freight forwarding and logistic. It's also a support for the other entities of the group, like Bolloré Port, Bolloré Railway, and Bolloré Energy. The goal of this structure is to boost digital innovation within the group on various business lines. You can see on the right of this slide 5 area works area for Bolloré Logistics. You have supply chain real-time monitoring with IoT solution, flow optimization and anticipation with artificial intelligence, warehouse automation, digital green, and operational excellency. The B Lab is very customer-oriented. We have regular meeting with our clients in this environment to discuss their needs and potential innovative solutions. For testing new solutions, we have an open innovation approach with innovation partner. For us, it's very important to work with external partners because we are a small team and we are very open to new solution, external new solution applicable in the group. In this context, we have naturally accepted Cedric's proposal for partnership with Next4 and with a French institute, Mindalbi, to develop services for predicting and improving risk management. In this partnership, the role of Bolloré is to transport Next4 devices, and that for collecting transport data necessary for the work done by data scientists from Mindalbi on new predictive services. Now about the lack of visibility of our international shipment. Having real-time information on the location of the customer for some container for some customers is essential for our freight forwarding activity, but not only the location, also temperature, shock, humidity, and opening of containers. For example, for sensitive goods like pharmaceutical products, in the case of significant temperature deviation, we can lose the goods, generate delay more than 1 month, and additional cost for the air express transport. With real-time localization, if we detect a temperature deviation, we can identify quickly the container and the subcontractor in charge of it. So we can contact him and see with him to solve the problem, which it's often a problem of connection or configuration problem on refresh container. This technology is also applicable for high-value goods, in particular to manage theft control problems. The IoT help for investigation and find out where the theft took place, knowing that there are a lot of players in the transport chain. So we can save time, even if the IoT doesn't not prevent current theft, but it limits the risk of new theft. And finally, for any type of goods, to solve some problem like organizational problem with the mobilization of handling resources at the best time based on the most accurate expected arrival date. So the need of visibility is not only just for a vertical business or high value goods, in fact. This is why we are very interested. We were very interested in working with Next4 on this topic. Next4 provides reliable data in real time, and with alerts, we are able, with our control towers, to process across all regions. It is a great way to organize our transport, to help us in this transport. And finally, we think that Next4 carries the ambition to develop a product with new predictive services and risk management fully adapted to the needs of our business. Now, you have the total visibility of what is our use case. I'm going to let Cedric introduce Next4 technology and perspectives with that.
Thank you, Fabien. Fabien, sure. When we created Next4 2 years ago, we asked for many things. Of course, we are not the first on this market, and this kind of device, you know that it, I think this technology can enable us to track and trace containers with GPS and connectivity. I think that many initiatives has been tried, and sometimes some still conclude to devices today that is used by many shipping lines and many freight forwarders. The choice that we have to do is to be able to know if we want to provide connected containers or just a tracker to track the cargo more than the container. So that's why we have first studied to a device where we can provide a device that can be efficient in this complex environment that we can consider with the container. So because it's made of many constraints. So today you can find many solutions with tracking system, and some of them are not able to provide international connectivity, so that we can remove this solution for the international shipping of containers. But we will consider all the others. If you just take some device without any external antenna or without having a position outside of the container, I think that you will have a loss of signal and it will not be efficient. So that's why we have decided to work on this solution. I don't know if you can see my screen. That's a simple device with a lightweight that can be also useful because of the reverse logistics that you have to organize of this device. So that's a light way of 300 grams and with a really small form factor. And this form factor have the part inside of the container, the electronic part, and a part outside of the container that is the antenna. You just have to install it in a sec. You just put it on the container door, and you will have a device that will retrieve all information about your shipments when you are near the coast, when you are inland on the leg or inland during from door to door, but with a loss of visibility, of course, on the middle of the sea. That's not a problem because our device will record all information about event, expected event, and unexpected event, and it will retrieve the information until we will be on the port, on many ports on the lake. So we will have a real-time information or near real-time information as soon as possible. So we have decided to work on this solution, and today we also work with some shipping lines on the solution as a permanent tracking system with strong adhesive, because the same solution had the advantage to be really easy to deploy. So we also can provide that solution with strong adhesive, and shipping lines and container owner can also have a solution for track and trace, not only on the cargo and new services for shippers, but also for the empty containers. And you know that we have a return on investment for each stakeholder on this kind of tracking. Of course, the shipper can have some benefits about his planning and also the way that he can manage some risk like thefts or loss. And the freight forwarder can improve its control tower and its services. It can also be a new services for them, also some new services for them also to provide for their customers, the shipper. But for containers owner and shipping lines, we think that there are also many return on invest, like the management of demurrage, the detention fees, and also the negotiation of free time with their customers, etc., etc. So today, we try to partners with many freight forwarders. Bolloré is not the single one. We want to partners because we think that freight forwarders and shipping lines can really access and has already access to the market when we talk about the shippers. And we target many partnerships. We are in a partnership, like we say, and the relation of customer and provider with Bolloré, I think, since more than 1 year and a half, when our solution was only MVP, like we say in startups, minimum viable product. So it was the same solution, but maybe it was not so waterproofed and not so shock resistant. But today we have an industrial solution, and Bolloré still trust us for this solution. And of course, it was more than an evidence to work together on also some value proposition identification, what can bring this new visibility, and also on some predictive alerts that can be available further for every one of our customers, but that Bolloré can also benefit as soon as possible of it. So just a few words about our solution. As you guess, it's a simple tracker with a web platform. This web platform is available for all customers that want to have a visualization of where are their containers and what is the statement of the state of these containers. But of course, as you can guess, with this simple solution, we can bring more visibilities. And when we talk about 100% visibility on the container, even if you imagine that you have a digital twin of your containers everywhere on their trip. Today, we think that with this real-time visibility can bring 80%. It means that you will not have 100%, but it's still more than only working on EDI and AIS. Today, AIS and EDI can have some delay, can have maybe just few points on the container journey. So we are sure that today we have more important data that can be useful for now having predictive alert, but also having more automatized analyzed. So as I said today, this solution bring information for Bolloré because they can use it and reuse it many times on the same shipments, and we bring also a maximum coverage for this device. Today we have almost all the biggest port of the world, and that's also why we think that today the technology is really ready. We have succeeded to have an affordable price for this device, so it means that we can deploy many of them with a good return on investment. We also developed many intelligent or smart algorithm inside of the device. It means that the device is able to detect when the container is loaded on a vessel, and so that can avoid other risks like maybe unexpected transshipment or maybe blank selling or things like that. You can be alert if your device is too long time in the same port, etc., etc. So we provide this information. We provide an API to also have this data for our partner directly on their own TMS. And the collaboration with Bolloré was, of course, an evidence because we are sure that today the data that's coming from the devices will not be the demonstration of what is the value proposition, because since 1 year we deliver data to our customers and they receive spam on their email box, alerts about door opening, but they don't understand why the door opening could be maybe a problem or not. They receive alerts on unexpected waiting time or some information about the route, but they don't know, and geofencing information, they don't know. What we have done with Bolloré and B-Lab, we have decided to work on, first of all, some interviews of the expectation of customers, but also about what is the job of the control tower and all the control towers of Bolloré when they told to their premium customers, premium clients, and what they provide, what is the commitment for the freight forwarders, for the transit time, for the risk management, and what can be automatized by the data and intelligence, what we call artificial intelligence, but today we call about artificial intelligence for many things that can be computed with data and algorithm. But of course, that's artificial intelligence, because the third thing is to try to be able to define some model with algorithm that can be also almost as efficient as people analyze the shipments regularly. So that's why we organized many interviews with Bolloré, and that was essential to work with freight forwarders and stakeholders involved in the shipment and the freight forwarders business, to be able to automatize and understand what were the expectations of their customer today. So that's one part of our collaboration. Of course, we already think about many things that we can provide with this collaboration. So the expectation of Bolloré and other freight forwarders are big today. You know that we are not the only one about the initiative of an automatic or a more dynamic and predictive estimated time of arrival. I think that is the point. You know that the insurance don't warranty anything about the estimated time of arrival, but people want to know exactly when their shipment will be delivered at the door or at the destination port, etc., etc. So that's, of course, one part of the things we have done and we are doing with Bolloré today, and École des Mines, that is the PhDs and data scientists working on that. And we also work on predictive alert about risk when we detect door opening or other kind of detection that can be sources of risk. The complex thing, and I will finish on that, the complex thing is also to identify all data sets that can be correlate with the data sets that we generate now with sensors, to be able to cross the data and define inference model. It means that we will search for what is an impact. And as you can guess, port congestion had an impact on the ETA, but if we detect door opening inside point of interest, it's less important than if we detect the door opening in Djibouti outside of point of interest. So that's what we try to do. That's what we're going to do for the next months. Is of course today we already have dynamic TA computed with data from past travel, from past journey. We move forward on that, and I think that Bolloré will enable all that thing by regular achievements. True, Fabien?
No, exactly. What is important for us also is anticipation. We want a tool. We want accurate alerts for anticipation in your process. It's very important for control tower process and organization. What we expect.
Yeah.
Florian?
Thanks.
That's a Q&A session.
I saw two questions, but I would like to answer, but I was not able to do that.
Yes. Wait a second. If there is anything on the chat already. There is one question in the chat, like how many Next4 devices, Cedric, are currently traveling for this partnership?
We are currently, we are at several hundred devices today.
Okay.
But due to COVID period, it was difficult to increase that, and we hope to do that for the next month with a target of 1 to 10.
That's a good question, of course, because you can guess that volume are important and to be able to define some patterns or some models for AI. But the thing is that today the most important thing is to have regular shipments with the same kind of shipments to be able to search for the exception, for the risk and unexpected things happening. So that's what we have started also to work because Bolloré, has a regular shipment via the LCL containers. So that's important to us to have many shipments on the same route each week to be able to define model that can be really reused for others, because with some machine learning we can have the same model that can train the and classify information for others, but we have to exert to try to define new pattern with regular shipments. So that's also the part of these partnerships, of course. That is that we need to have regular shipments.
And Cedric, before we hit on record for the presentation, we briefly talked about the predictive services. Are they already implemented? When will they be implemented? And what's the difference between the predictive services and what we talked about in the session?
I think that the thing is we already have some small predictive services. Today we take into account for the estimated time of arrival. We take into account prediction. We have prediction of the word is estimated time. So of course you can get that we try to have prediction about that. But the thing is we try to have a predictive alert based on other kind of risk, and this part will be I think available only in 1 or 2 years, because we need to train the model.
Fabien, please don't listen now, because it's only for Cedric. Who are the main competitors for Next4?
I think that Fabien is maybe also the right people to answer, because I think that Bolloré has made a benchmark that we cannot do that because our competitor will never deliver some information. But I don't know what is the benchmark of Bolloré, of course, as you guess, but I know that Bolloré
you are always on the top of the ranking. Each year we make this benchmark.
I think that I think that technology moving fast, and of course we have many opportunities to find new devices. The thing and the trade-off that we have to take into account that is a price. I think that we when we talk about electronic, even if some people in IoT talk about $5 devices, it's not today it's not possible with a device that can communicate everywhere in the world, and it's not possible for a device with an industrialized device. So we can target $50 for the price of the device or the cost of the device, but today what we have to check if it's the technology will enable us to have more than 80% of visibility, and we think that tomorrow, maybe through 2 to 5 years, you will have IoT with an affordable price. Today, it's not the case. IoT with the global coverage, we talk about satellite IoT, will coming, I think, in 2 to 5 years, but the price will be maybe not the expected one.
Cedric, what's like a question in the chat from Prasan? Thanks for the question. What's the main differentiator between products developed by TrackSense or Cloak Tracker?
That's a good question. We already have some of our partners using TrackSense and our device in the same container. So maybe to run some tests. I think that today our device is as good as the TrackSense device. So it still depends on what you want to do about the reverse logistic. I think that TrackSense device has to be installed. It's a long thing, and to have a partnership with container owners. So it means that it could be a difficulty or maybe a problem for some freight forwarders that want to move faster than waiting for a container installed with TrackSense. So I think that the advantage that we can have, but about the visibility, I think that we have almost the same. Maybe TrackSense has 8 years more than Next4, and they also have work on the data. So maybe they have work on value proposition for container owners, shipping lines. Today, we try to work on advantages and new feature for other stakeholders also with Next4. So you know what? I think that maybe we have to do something with our customers to be able to find the value proposition, because today the deployment of this kind of device needs to focus on value proposition that will take into account maybe something that all our customers haven't found today.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I hope Prasan that solves your question. And Fabien, maybe a question for you. You lead the innovation team at Bolloré Logistics. What can we expect next from you guys? Like any exciting projects in the pipeline?
Yes, we have an exciting project on blockchain. A lot of project on blockchain for dematerialization of documents, and also for tracking information, because a lot of solutions are in project today in the world of the supply chain. Mm-hmm. So it's important for us to follow that, and we work also on drones for transportation security, also security for the ports, for example, and intelligence. Artificial intelligence, because we have a lot of data and we want to do something with that. It's important for us to work on that.
The data part I understand, but what do you use blockchain for?
Sorry?
The data part I understand, and that makes a lot of sense. But what do you use blockchain for? For what applications, and how does that work?
For the tracking. Firstly, for the tracking, to be sure that in this transportation chain, we have a lot of factors and we have to trust the data. And that is important for us to see what can bring a blockchain platform to trust the data and to be sure that we are the right data. And also for dematerialization of documents for customers, for example.
Makes sense. Are there any other questions in the audience? We've got Fabien and Cedric for another minute. Otherwise, if you're not fast typing, I would close the session for now. Thank you so much, Cedric and Fabien, for sharing insights from your partnership. I'm sure that you can reach out to both of them on LinkedIn, via email, on social media, or via their websites in the next days. And we'll share the session as an on-demand webinar. So thanks for attending. Thanks for speaking at the Digital Container Summit, and I hope you enjoyed it.
Thank you for the organization. Thank you, Florian.
Have a good day. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.